Inflation has become a worldwide concern or a worldwide issue. Everyone is complaining about the rising prices in commodities and goods. So, is it also here in our country? I know many people have been wondering what is happening because 4 months ago, a 2 kg packet of maize flour was retailing at around 120, 130. The same currently is going at 200 shillings. And of course, many people have been left wondering what is happening, what is not happening, you know. And yet, our politicians promised us the best. Yes. Um, Yes, so my name is Rachel and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about inflation, which is what we are facing currently all today. And I want us to understand maybe what is inflation and what it means to us and ways in which we can be able to survive the current inflation. We are not going to go into details about causes of inflation because there are so many, or how to curb inflation. There are so many things that cause inflation, and I know our entities, our government, the CBK, and everyone else, they are working day and night to ensure that everything comes back to order. So, what is inflation? Inflation, in simple terms or in a layman's language, means prices of goods and commodities and also services going up. Yeah, and uh, as we sit as per today, our inflation stands at around 9.2%, uh, which has been increasing monthly. You know, those who've been watching news, business news, or following what is happening in our economies, our inflation is continuing to increase. And believe it or not, um, it's not expected that it's going down soon. So we normally have inflation, maybe positive. I don't know whether you can call it positive inflation. That is when I think for our economy, our inflation should not go beyond 5%, if I'm not wrong. But currently, you can see we stand at 9 point. So it means I think we are hyperinflated, or we are on the extreme end. We are going up, up, up. So, and inflation is caused by a lot of things. Like I was reading the other day and I was seeing like most of our wheat products and also oil come from Russia and Ukraine, where there has been war. So you can imagine, now that there was war, of course there was no wheat products coming to us or even oil. So of course there is shortage. And what happens when there is shortage? Supply is low, but demand is high. And what do you expect? Of course, prices will go up. Secondly, we also had the COVID-19, whereby many companies or factories were closed down, also causing a shortage of, of such commodities in the market. So, of course, when there is a shortage in the market of a certain commodity, most times demand will be high, hence, prices are expected to go up. We also have maybe things like governance, whereby you find maybe our government officials are very corrupt, or we have institutions that have monopolized a certain product, causing also prices to go up. And maybe those are some of the causes that have caused inflation in our country and also worldwide, because maybe there are so many factors: the COVID-19, the Ukraine and Russian war. We cannot exhaust them today, but I know that's not where our point really lies on, because some of these things, they are things that are way beyond our control, and there is nothing much that we can do about them. However, talking about inflation, of course, inflation has affected most of us, both as consumers and also investors. everyone has been affected by the same, because services have changed, prices have gone up, even investments have been affected. And so today we are going to be looking at ways at which we can remain sane during these hard economic times, or how we can survive the hard economic times, because they are not going to be there forever. Yeah. And I'll be discussing 5 points on maybe what we can do currently to remain financially stable, to remain sane at this point when things are going up, 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 when we're expecting them to come down, down, down. But one thing I'll tell you, as much as our politicians might have promised a lot, they can't beat the market and its laws, as we continue to have this conversation, you will hear about demand and supply. Yeah, and of course, I know most of you did small business, and of course, you learned about the demand and supply laws. And of course, our politicians cannot beat the laws. They cannot just come overnight and say, no, we want uh, ugali now from maybe 200 or 190 shillings now to 100 bob. The markets, the little economics, it's not an overnight thing. And that's why you can see even our current government, they have even put up a panel of experts, to at least help them to sit down and streamline and see what is it that we can work on, what is it that we can do. Yeah. So point number one, during these economic times, I'll advocate that we focus on our needs and reassess our wants. Needs are things that you have, it's compulsory to spend on them, like you can't escape them: food, clothing, rent. And then wants are things, or yeah, they are things that we spend on, that they are not compulsory to have them, like maybe having a gym, you have a gym membership, going for dinner, traveling, um having TV subscriptions. Um, those are luxury items. So during this time, unless you have the capacity, focus more on your needs. The basic commodities that you need, focus on them, because as much as inflation is there, our lives must continue. There is nothing that is going to stop, and we're not going to give up just because the economy is, or because the economic times are tough. So I'll advise that you work on your needs. And for now, you can, withdraw your membership. Maybe if it's in a gym, you can still work out from your house. um, you can still do intermittent fasting, still a way of losing weight. You can do detox. There are so many ways uh, that can compensate whatever extra that you're paying for. If it's TV subscriptions, maybe you can opt, instead of paying the 3,000 or how much you pay, you can opt for their free services. Yeah. Then secondly is also looking at our sources of income. uh, as as research says, it our inflation stands at 9.2%. So what does that mean? If your income is still constant, it means you're way below our inflation. So if you're in business, if you're employed, you have to start looking for an extra source of income. Yes, we have to move away from the traditional employment and think about um, demand driven skills. Demand driven skills are like, whatever I'm doing, it's something that, you know um, I work in the financial institution. I'm a banker by profession. But then the knowledge and the expertise I have, I can use it also to educate other people and probably even make an earning from it. So not necessarily what you do, but you can look for something extra to do during your 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 uh your your free time, or during weekends. We have a lot ongoing. Currently, I think we're in the millennial generation whereby everybody is IT savvy. um, it's about computers, phones. Kids being born, they know how to operate phones better than even the owners. What does that mean? That also, um, the world is going, you know, IT wise. So at least look for a skill. We have a lot of things that you can do online, like academic writing, article writing. There's forex. You know, there's so much vlogging. Nowadays people are making a lot from everything. And how do you get to know about some of these things? YouTube nowadays have become, um it's a global class. It's a master class. Anything that you want to learn, you will get it there. So get to your YouTube. Just google how academic writing in Kenya, how to start as an article writer, forex trading in Kenya, you know, anything, any business that you want to do, anything that you're thinking of doing. If you just go or even Google, trust you me, you will have information. Don't ignore. Most people ignore and say these things are scams. Like personally, I learned about academic and article writing way back in 2016 when. No, just a minute, Kyle. Let me finish. Kyle, Kyle, close for me the door. Close for me the door. Sorry, guys. Of course, disruption from kids. But then, where were we? We were talking about not ignoring information and assuming it's scam. Not everything is scam. Just get your time to learn something. I was saying personally, I learned about academic and article writing back in 2017 when I graduated. And you just finished school and you're not sure of what you want to do, or you have not even gotten an opportunity or even a job, and a friend of mine introduced to it. And to date, I cannot complain as much as I don't have much time to concentrate on the same. But I can't borrow 500 or 1,000 bob from people, because at least I know there's something that I can do and get me something. You see, sometimes when you go to Google and you want to Google, best foods in Kenya, article writing in Kenya, academic writing, those articles are written by people like me and you. But now, um, maybe they have a website or they are working with a company. But all that information that is found on Google, on YouTube, uh, it's people doing them and they are earning from it. So why not? You only need step by step. And personally, okay, I might not give all that information because I don't have the time, because also of my very tight schedule. I'm also working on weekdays. But it's good to take your time to learn one, two, three. Secondly, you can also, you know apart from those, there are people maybe who might not succeed in that area, but you can look for a gap, maybe from wherever you stay, where you live. You can identify a gap, um, of something that is needed, or a commodity that is needed, and you are able to tap in. you know for those who are employed, also you can also try negotiating your salaries with your employers. But of course, that has to come with performance. For those who are in the private institutions or whichever institution, it's not easy. You can just be asking for increment in salaries, and maybe you are not delivering. So of course, results have to be seen. For those who have been stagnating in jobs, maybe you've been in a job for the last 5 years, you've not gotten an increment, and your results, your performance is good. I mean, at this point in time, probably maybe you should be thinking of getting another job, if uh because what I'm sure, if you're earning less than our inflation. Like, let's say maybe um, kwa wale maybe wanafanya vibarua, unga is retailing at 200 shillings and you have a job where you are earning 150 shillings. You are negative 50 bob. You see? So at the end of the day, as much as you're living, you'll always be at a negative. You will be borrowing, you know, you will be in debt day in, day out. So if you're also a business person and maybe business currently is not doing well, you also have to start thinking outside the box. Maybe what extra can I do in this business? What is it that people need right now? Maybe I'm selling clothes. How about maybe if I brought in something extra in this shop that is basic? How about maybe if I put onions here? How about maybe if I put like a small grocery here? You just have to start thinking outside the box. Like I said, identifying a gap and all that. Um, the third point, guys, this is the point to avoid uh, new loans. Like currently the interest rates have been increased. You know why? Because also it's a way of curbing inflation. Because if people continue having more money and there are no commodities to buy, then it means inflation will continue going up. And so CBK also, our central bank of Kenya, also uh, it has a role of controlling, our inflation, and increasing interest rates. It's one of them. Um, like currently, the interest rates had been capped at 13%. Today, interest rates for those who have loans, I'm sure you've received messages and emails telling you that your interest rates are going up. Yes. Today, I think the CBK rate stands at 14.25, around 14.25, that is 14.3. And so you can imagine now banks are about now to put their margin, so which means loans will be retailing at 17, 18, 19, 20%. So this is not the best time now to be thinking about new loans. If you have existing debts, kindly concentrate on them. Avoid debts as much as you can, unless they're existing. Yeah, or it's very necessary to have them and you have already reevaluated your repayment plans and all that. But don't just see an opportunity to get a debt and you go ahead to get it. Yes. The other thing is also make sure that your savings is earning you uh, more interest than our current inflation rates. Sorry. You can't be having an FD uh, whereby you're getting an interest of 6% or even 4%, and our inflation is at 9.2%. Also make sure that wherever you're taking your investments, your ROI, that is return for investment, is higher than our inflation rate. So for whatever investment that you're making, make sure that the profit you're making from it is higher than our current inflation rate. Yeah, those are some of the ways that maybe guys can help us to stay sane, avoid debt, avoid giving out your monies to people. Because as I think I had mentioned earlier, currently people are so good at borrowing, but when it comes to repaying, um ability is not there. Because as I've said, if you're earning less than the inflation rate, it means you will be borrowing a lot. And currently, people are really borrowing both from, people, from institutions, but of which is not advisable because it's not sustainable in the long run. Uh, that's why I was saying nowadays, unakaa tu and you see someone, maybe you've not even talked for 2 years, and they are saying hi, they want to borrow you 5,000 shillings, and then, or even 20K, and then someone starts paying you your 20K, 1,000 every month. So I think it's the high time that we learn, guys. There's a lot happening, everything is up, and we only need to take care of ourselves. Of course, this is not going to last forever. you know we are not going to have inflation forever. Of course, in the next 1 2 years, things will have changed. Yes, things will have changed and things will be better. So there is no need to worry a lot. Yeah, I think I've talked about everything that we needed to know. I was just checking if there's something that I've left out. Mm, and also look for learn new things. Like we have free institutions or free websites that offer free courses like Coursera, ALX Africa, even Google. You will find a lot of stuff that can help you. Also try to assist yourself where you can. Yeah, and I'm sure things um, will turn out good, or at least we'll be able to survive these hard economic times. For now, that's it for me. Yes, bye bye.